Hey, remember that Pokemon episode with the giant creepy Dragonite? Yeah, what exactly was the deal with that? It showed up, gave us a good spook, and then it was never heard from ever again. So let's see what we can find out. Viewer beware, you're in for a scare because this is the Mutant Dragonite Mystery. This Dragonite originates from episode 13 of the Indigo League anime series, which looking back is a pretty early episode in Pokemon's lifespan. This episode is appropriately titled Mystery at the Lighthouse. Things start off recapping Ash's progress as he has 2 badges and 6 Pokemon at the time. And after catching a Krabby that gets teleported away, the gang finds themselves at a mysterious lighthouse seeking shelter for the night, thus setting up the spooky episode.
And I wonder if I could use your kitchen to make some bacon double cheeseburgers for our group.
As a side note, I like the situation with Krabby getting transported to Professor Oak, as a good way to show visually what's happening in-game when you capture more than 6 Pokemon. But back to the spooks, Bill's lighthouse looks so much creepier than the house he has in the games. Also, I might as well mention the door to the lighthouse, which is a mystery all on its own. A bunch of Pokemon are carved into it, and among them is Mewtwo, which nobody, except for the top researchers at Team Rocket, should know about at this point in time. And this door seems like it's been around for a few years at the very least. I'll just go ahead and chalk it up to a mistake on the part of the animators, who probably just picked a bunch of cool looking Pokemon to fill it out. But after they get inside and have a chat with Professor Oak over the phone, we meet a big Kabuto that turns out to be Bill himself. I already discussed Bill's transformations in the video games, but here in the anime he just wears a suit, which would make him a fine guy with an appreciation for suits. But now Bill goes on about the wonders of Pokemon and reveals one specific Pokemon he's currently interested in. He doesn't mention it by name, but gives us important details, like the fact it's probably the biggest Pokemon ever, has been wandering the world for years, and is the only one of its kind. This last one is pretty interesting. I'm sure he probably means that it's the only giant Dragonite, thus distinguishing it from the regular sized Dragonite. And while the Dragonite line is still very rare, at least during Generation 1 and the original anime series, it's not completely unseen. We would get to see them later in this continuity. But as this is only episode 13 of the series, maybe that's why the Pokemon isn't named. Otherwise, I'm sure Bill would have specifically said that this is an abnormal giant Dragonite. That along with the fact that it's obscured for the whole episode. But it would set some weird expectations when this is the first glimpse of Dragonite that many people would get. Supposedly, there's a mention of it from the writer of the Pokemon anime, Takeshi Shudo, where he calls it a Mutant Dragonite, that being the reason it's larger and abnormal. But I can't find a source for this aside from a fancy looking Twitter post, but the name Mutant Dragonite sounds cool, so I'll keep it. The thing is, we've seen various Pokemon of different sizes throughout the entire anime, all of this just being explained as typical natural occurrences, aside from rare occasions where something weird happens. But in this very same episode, we're introduced to the concept of different sized Pokemon, as the Krabby that Ash caught is compared to the larger Krabby that Gary caught. And in a world as magical as Pokemon, it wouldn't be too unbelievable for a certain Dragonite to become much, much larger. Though there is still possibly some kind of mystical component to our big friend over here. The calls it makes are so hypnotic. This all makes it seem like Mutant Dragonite is an ancient being, probably having a lifespan that has grown along with its size, and spending most of its time deep in the ocean, far from the eyes of any humans, which makes sense because Dratini basically do the same thing, living in waters unbeknownst to some people. Kaiju-sized creatures like this come from the ocean because there's so much that hasn't been fully explored, so the possibilities of what could be out there drive the imagination. In more recent years, with Dynamax being introduced in Sword and Shield, some people want to make that connection, but it's just no. This Dragonite seems permanently big and is far away from Galar. Mutant Dragonite is one of those things in the anime that has stuck with me ever since I first saw it. The build-up was quick yet effective, and it's just intriguing enough to spark some good speculation. I think it's just another moment in Pokemon that doesn't necessarily need an explanation. The mystery is so much more fun than the answer would be satisfying, just like how it's treated in the anime, being an unexplainable mystery, here one moment and gone the next. We're meant to appreciate it for the moments that we can. Not every ghost story has a definitive reason for happening. The mystery itself is the most important part. And so that was the Mutant Dragonite mystery. Well, wasn't that quite the scary story? But anyway, hey, this is GatorX, and let me know what you think in the comments below about this Halloween video. We'll be continuing the theme throughout the entire month, and there will be a special at the end of it, so stay tuned for that. You can also check out a playlist of a bunch of other previous scary videos, which will be linked at the end, from previous years. But if you enjoyed this one, you can leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can also enable notifications to make sure you see each new video as it comes out. But anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a scary day.